Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Q&A. Now we've got a really good theme this week and it's so important. I'm really excited about talking about it, and that is strength training. Strength training is really important to do. If you're currently not strength training, make sure that after listening to this, you get on some kind of strength training, whether that's even just to start off with using your own body weight, but ideally using some form of resistance or weights or a booty band, etc. But it's important to do at any age, but it's important to do especially after the age of 30, because we start to lose muscle mass if we don't do anything about it. As in, if we're not regularly strength training, eating enough protein to replenish our muscles, etc. And when we hit the perimenopause as women and postmenopause, we can exponentially lose lean muscle mass, which is quite frightening. Again, if we don't do anything about it. So if we're regularly strength training, we're eating enough protein, we're getting enough rest for our muscles to repair and replenish, then okay, that's great. And we can even increase our lean muscle mass at this age as well. So it's not like, you hit your 30s or you hit your perimenopause and that's it. It's not like that at all. It just means that it's even more important to do. And that is to protect our lean muscle mass for lots of different reasons. But one of the main reasons is for our bone density. So when we fall over, by having a covering over this sounds a little bit strange, but a covering over our bones of muscle tissue versus fat tissue, we are much less likely to break. As in, imagine falling over with thick pillows strapped to your legs versus falling over with a thin bedsheet strapped to your legs. The thick pillows are like muscle tissue. They're dense. They're going to protect the bone. The bed sheet is like fat tissue. It's not dense and it's not going to protect your bone. And that is whether, you're overweight, underweight, a healthy weight, your muscle to fat ratio is important. It's also important for your metabolism. So your metabolism is linked to the amount of lean muscle mass you have. And it's important for our body tone. And the more muscle we have, the more strength we're likely to have as well. And it just makes everyday life so much easier. No one wants to be the little frail old lady that's worried about falling over or can't carry her shopping into the house or can't get out of a chair or can't get up and down the stairs easy or can't play on the floor with her grandkids. No one wants to be that person. So it's really important to make sure we're doing these things. So that's why I'm so excited about talking about strength training today. And if you're currently not doing it, you need to be. It's just hands down, you need to be. It's not an option. Okay. Unless, that doesn't bother you, then fine, fair enough. But it's really important to do. So on that note, let's go into the questions which are really linked to exactly what I was just talking about. So question number 1. And by the way, it's never too late to start. If you're in a place where you've just never done this before, it's okay. And I really think that our squad is a really nice place to start with this kind of thing, because you're in the comfort of your own home. You've got the guidance from me. We've got the how-to videos that break down every single move as well. So if you're not sure, definitely go and check those out. But you're in a good place to build this up in your own time too, and then see and feel your progress. It's perfect. You're in the best place. So the first question is, I have pretty much no weights experience. How much weight would you start with on the bar to make the first sessions achievable? This is always a difficult question to answer. How much weight should you start off with? It really depends on you as a person. But if you're using a barbell, typically the kind of classes that we do for strength are your lower weight, higher repetition. So you're not going to go and lift a really heavy weight for 3 reps, for example. It's going to be maintained for a song, like a track. So our stronger class, Our stronger class is a perfect example of that. So it's pre-choreographed. We have a track per body part, if you like, and we work through the whole body and we work muscular endurance. So it's lighter weights, high repetition, and it really helps with that body tone. So I would begin, if you really have no idea, start with 2.5 kilos on either side of your bar. See how you get on, and then follow my recommendations in between each track. So that will be your warm-up weight. And then for the next track, I will tell you what to do. So just listen out for that. Right, we're moving on to X. What I'd like everybody to do is double your warm-up weight, take a third off. So just listen to my recommendations and go with that. And then what I would say is just see how you get on. You can always change it in the track. And you can always think, you can always change it afterwards as well. Like, oh, actually, that was really hard today. I'll scale it back a little bit. Or that felt a little bit easy. Or maybe this is becoming easier now. I'm going to increase it. And that leads us nicely on to the next question, which is, should we start from stronger number one and keep doing that same class to build the weight and level up, or should we do a mixture of stronger classes? So stronger number one isn't necessarily easier than stronger number 26. Stronger number one was just a class that we did 5 years ago. I would start with what we're doing right now, the current stronger release, or going on to this week's classes and following what we do. And my best advice is to choose a release, stick with it for at least 4 weeks, doing it twice a week. Because that way you get to see and feel your progress within that release. So I wouldn't do, say, on Monday, stronger number 27, on Wednesday, stronger number 7, on Friday, stronger number 15, because you'll never get that consistency properly. You can do that if you want to, but it's much more effective and better for your progression and your muscular overload, as in, that sounds horrible, doesn't it? Muscular overload, but your progression and seeing your strength progression if you choose a release and stick with it. And if you follow the live classes, so you'll notice that I always put stronger on twice a week, and I do it for that reason. So if you follow the classes, the stronger classes, let's say, the first 2 weeks, just see how you get on. That's kind of your chance to feel it and test it out. And then week 3 and 4, that's where we start to add the weight on. So apart from the warm-up track, we don't add any weight onto that. But all the other tracks, we add a little bit of weight on. And this causes progressive overload, i.e. helps you get stronger. And it's also where you really see and feel your progress as well. And every release is so different, which is why it's very difficult, challenging to try and chop and change in between releases. It wouldn't be very effective to do that. But as I said, if you want to do that, of course, you can as well. But any strength training is better than none. It's just if you're wanting to see and feel your progression. Not that you wouldn't get stronger by doing a mixture, just saying. If I'm aiming for 3 strength classes a week, should I ideally space them out with rest days in between, or can I do them all at the end of the week, for example? So with strength training, your muscles need time to recover. So the way that you actually get stronger is this. You do a workout and it creates a stimulus on the muscles, and it creates little micro tears in your muscles. And this is just how the body gets stronger. So you say, for example, we've done a stronger class, which is our choreographed weights class. You've done a stronger class. You've got little micro tears in your muscles. Sometimes you feel it, sometimes you don't. When you do feel it, it's called DOMS, and that is delayed onset muscle soreness. You know, that soreness in your muscle that you might not even feel the next day, but you might feel 2 days afterwards. That's DOMS. And that is when you've done anything that is a bit different to what you'd normally do. And that might be if we've changed the stronger release, for example, or a little bit intense compared to what your body is used to at that moment in time. So sometimes you might feel it if you've gone away on holiday, you've not done any strength training for a couple of weeks, you come back, and then when you first get back into it, you might be feeling the DOMS a little bit. Now, this goes away. And if you don't feel the ache the next day or the day after, it doesn't mean that the workout wasn't effective. It's just that your body's become more efficient at adapting. So please know that that's not a measure of whether you've tried hard or whether you've had a good workout. So it's not at all. And you wouldn't want to feel that after every workout. You really wouldn't. So just so you know. So just going back a little bit, we create a stimulus on the muscles. And then in order for our muscles to knit that together and repair, we need to be doing a few things. We need to make sure that we give them adequate water. So we need to be fully hydrated. We need to make sure that we're giving our muscles enough protein. So we need to focus on protein so they can actually repair themselves. And then they also need time to rest, because if you've got little micro tears in your muscles and then you're creating more tears on tears on tears on tears, what ends up happening? 1, you don't really get any stronger, so you don't necessarily see the results from your workouts. And 2, it can cause injuries or niggles. So it's actually quite important that once we've created that stimulus, that we give that area a bit of rest. Now, if you're doing a stronger class, that's full body. So what I would say there, for example, is if you're doing 3 strongers in a week, you could do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or you could do Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, however you want to break it up. You'll also notice on our timetable that we do upper body and we also do lower body. So you might even do a stronger and then an upper body and then a lower body. So if you were going to do consecutive strength days, so you might be thinking, I don't have time to break it up like that, Lorna. Like my week just doesn't work like that. I have to do all at the weekend. Okay, that's fine. How about then on Friday, you do a full body. On Saturday, you do an upper body, so the lower body gets some rest. And then on Sunday, you do lower body, so the upper body's getting some rest. How about that? So you can kind of work it a little bit like that. And so you're allowing a bit of rest time for that particular body part as well. But ideally, you'd be allowing some, at least a day's rest in between just to release those muscles, or at least, say, if you do upper body, the next day, do lower, allowing your upper body that at least one day of rest. So I hope that explains it. But the strength actually comes from when we're resting. I know that sounds crazy, but that is where we actually get stronger. So we need the workouts to create the stimulus, but we actually get stronger when we're resting. And this is why sometimes, when you hear a lot of people say, I've hit the gym 7 days this week, again, I'm feeling really good. And you're thinking, oh my goodness me. Like, if you're wanting to improve your strength and your fitness and you're not allowing your body recovery time, it's going to work the total opposite way to what you actually want. And if you're wanting to be stronger, fitter, healthier, rest is really important. It's a really important part of it. So I hope that explains that in detail. The next question is, we are going skiing for the first time in 7 years in February. Hey, and I want to feel fitter. Which classes would you recommend? Okay, that is so exciting, and I hope you have a great time. So for skiing, a few different things actually. So firstly, you want to be focusing on, of course, leg strength. You're basically in a bit of a squat, or like a semi-squat for the whole day, pretty much. So focus on things that are going to build your glute and your leg strength. That would be booty band, it would be stronger, and it would be lower body. And actually anything in red, when you go into on demand or you go into the live classes, anything red is strength based. So make sure you're focusing on those things. So first and foremost, those classes, definitely. Let's build glute strength and leg strength. Secondly, you want to be thinking about your core. We use the core a lot when we're skiing, all the time, sometimes without really realizing it. But you need your core, and you also need core stability when you're skiing. Pilates is the best one for that. So I would also be saying focus on Pilates. Then sometimes when you're skiing, you might go a bit wrong. You might have to ski up a bit of a hill, or you might be poling because you're on a flat for a while. Therefore, we really need our heart health, and we really need those little bursts of energy, those little spurts. So I'd be saying doing things like a high intensity class once a week, like HIIT or like Sculpt, or a class that just really gets you out of breath would be really beneficial. So those are the classes that you want to focus on. And then, of course, if you're doing a lot of strength around your legs and your glutes, it would be beneficial to make sure you're doing some regular mobility, like a yoga or a yoga skate, or even if you just get that in your Pilates, but to release off some of that tension as well. So yes, we want to build strength, we want to build muscle, but we also don't want to be building up too much tension and making those areas too tight. So focusing on some mobility is really important. That's key as well. So they're the ones that you want to focus on. And I hope you have an amazing time. That's so exciting. Love skiing. Absolutely love it. Now, our last question is about supplementation. And this supplement is one that is used for improving strength and maintaining lean muscle. So it's a really good one. And it's actually the most well-researched supplement out there for this kind of thing. And that is creatine. So the question is, when should I take creatine? I've been taking it for almost a month. I work out, then take creatine in a warm drink afterwards. Should I be taking it before doing the strength class, or does it not really matter? I've noticed it seems to be keeping the perimenopausal workout overheating in control. That's great to hear. That's really good. So with a creatine, let me just explain a little bit about what it actually is, and then when to take it, etc. So creatine is actually something that is present in our muscles, and it's natural. We get it from our foods as well. So we get it from beef, salmon, tuna, a few more sources that are pretty rich in creatine. And the reason it's important is because it helps us create energy in our muscles called ATP. It's like the currency of energy. And it's really important for when we need energy fast, like quick bursts or explosive bursts, like lifting up a heavy weight or sprinting or doing something quickly. It's really important for that. And so we need it. We need creatine. And with supplementation, what this can do is it can help your muscles recover faster. It can make lifting weights, feel easier, much easier, because your muscles are able to recruit that power, that intense burst quicker. And there are also some cognitive benefits associated with creatine. So it's great for your muscle repair. It's great for being able to maintain lean muscle mass, and it also helps you get stronger. It helps you get stronger. And so a lot of people use creatine. And of course, yeah, the more recently found cognitive benefits, which are just amazing. So there is absolutely no harm in taking creatine supplements. Research suggests it's completely and utterly safe. And probably, actually, if you are perimenopausal or you're somebody who is wanting to improve your lean muscle mass, improve the rate of recovery, maybe you just want it for the cognitive benefits, it's worth trying. It's worth having. So you can get it in like a powder form, you can even get it in like gummy form and all sorts. I don't know the effectiveness of those in comparison though, but basically it's like 3 to 5 grams a day, just in a little powder form. You can shot it, you can put it in a tiny bit of water, you put it in a drink, wherever. Yeah, so that's how you can take creatine in the supplement form. There's no harm in using it. It's like I said, very widely researched and safe. Now, in terms of when you actually have it, there is no solid evidence to suggest before or after a workout or any particular times in the day are more beneficial. There is no solid evidence for any of that at present, at the moment. But what is important is the consistency of taking it. So just having it, choose a time that works for you, have it every day at that time. And that's the most important thing with the creatine. The fact that you're actually taking it, the fact that it's consistent, it's every day at a time that works for you. So actually, if you enjoy having it after your workout, keep doing that. There is no evidence to say that before is better or after is better. It really, really doesn't matter. One thing to note with creatine, which freaks out a lot of people, is a lot of people say, oh, it makes you put on weight. Now, it doesn't. What actually happens when you first take creatine for the first couple of weeks, and it doesn't happen in everyone, but it can in some people, it makes your muscles hold on to a little bit more water temporarily. So you can find that the scale weight might go up by just a little bit, maybe like a pound, 2 pounds, whatever, just because your muscles are holding on to a little bit of temporary water. As soon as your body gets used to having that creatine, this will go. So it doesn't make you put weight on. It might make you hold a little bit of water in your muscles at the start as your body is getting used to it, and then that just goes. So just bear that in mind if you're someone who is avoiding having it just because your muscles might hold a tiny bit of water for a couple of weeks. Yeah, just let that go. It's a very beneficial supplement. Anyway, team, I hope that's been useful. I hope that's giving you a little bit of inspiration on strength training as well. And also just to say that, again, if you are somebody who is not doing this right now, it's never too late to start. And starting somewhere is better than nowhere at all. So you might even want to start off with just really, really light weights, or just starting off with getting some dumbbells. I mean, personally, I would definitely recommend getting a barbell, and we've got some suggestions on the website, team. So have a look at those. They're really good. Put it on your Christmas list, because that way you can lift heavier and safer. And you can also progressively overload easier than, say, having to use hand weights. And as soon as you get to a point with hand weights where you're lifting quite a lot heavier, it was very hard to lift those weights at the same pace, the same rate, the same time, making sure, you're keeping your body even, there aren't any asymmetries. It can become a bit dodgy compared to using, I know that's not great terminology, but it can, compared to using a barbell, which is much safer to lift heavier and when you've got the right technique and things. So it's just a little bit of food for thought, but just start somewhere. And if you're not sure, you can always ask me, and you can have a look at how-to videos that break down each move so you can actually practice it before you go along and do a class on demand or a live class. If you do it on demand, you can always pause as well. You can slow it down, you can pause it so you can actually look and get your technique, get confident doing it, feel good doing it, and stick with that release so you build your confidence and your strength within that release. Now, if you're not strength training at the moment and you're like, I don't know where to start, like how many times a week should I be doing this? Absolute minimum twice a week, bare minimum twice a week. Make that your priority, definitely. Even if it's something that, I don't know if I like strength training as much as like getting all sweaty, doing a cardio is really important. So even if you don't do it because I'm so passionate about like lifting a barbell, if you don't feel that way, do it because it's important. And just remind yourself that. Anyway, I'll leave you on that note, team. I hope you have a lovely day. I hope this has been really useful for you. And I will see you in class tomorrow.